everyone, this is Deneen. Welcome to Hollywood Mindset TV. Today I'm really excited to have a very special guest on the show. Her name is Nicole McKinney. I've known Nicole for just about a year, and she is someone who exemplifies the mindset of success that Hollywood Mindset TV wants to expose you to help you to learn and to grow. So Nicole, I'm so excited to have you on the show. How excited are you to be on the show today?
I'm very excited. Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. So before we get into the interview, I just want to tell everyone just a little bit about Hollywood Mindset TV and just a little bit about our story. So we work with a lot of talent that are coming into the entertainment industry, and we have found that so many people put the cart before the horse. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is there are so many people that are trying to get into the entertainment industry, and they think they need an agent or a manager to be successful, when in actuality, they should be focusing on more important things like booking work, actually getting paid for their work, and having a mindset that makes managers and agents actually want to work with you. So today we're going to talk to Nicole about where she was, where she is, and where she is going. So Nicole, can you start by telling me a little bit about your backstory about where you were before you met VIP Ignite?
So before VIP Ignite, I was actually a student at FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City. I was actually studying fashion design because I do a lot of drawing, and fashion is definitely one of my interests. And I had a moment when I was at school, and I thought about what I'd be happy doing at the end of the day, what I like to do for the rest of my life, what kind of job I would like to have that doesn't feel like I'm working because I love it so much. And I thought back to what I used to do when I was younger, and it was always acting. And so I kind of made the decision kind of overnight and to leave it before the end of my first semester and come back home and start pursuing acting.
Okay. So how did you get up the guts, A, to quit during your first semester, and B, how did you explain that to your parents?
At first, because I was hesitant about it, but I thought I should stop, just pushing that aside, because I felt like I was denying myself happiness in a way, because that's what I truly wanted. So I slept on it, and I woke up the next morning, and I kind of knew that I was going to make the decision and leave and go back home. I was very nervous telling my parents, especially because they're from the military, and it's all about having a set plan and doing this to get there and there and there. And but when I told my parents, they were definitely supportive of it. They understood kind of why I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And I know it was definitely a little tough at first, but they definitely came around to it. And now I talk to them, they know everything I'm doing, from what project I'm doing now. And my mom always reminds me, like, you have rehearsal this day. So she's actually up on my schedule more than I am. So they're very supportive of it.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit how, like, so you made the decision, you told your parents, and then you moved from New York back to Florida. So what did you do when you got back to Florida? Like, how did you start pursuing your happiness?
So I immediately kind of Googled how to start. I looked at acting classes that were nearby. I looked for any kind of auditions for theater, shorts, and student films. And then I eventually actually found an extras casting for a feature film. And I applied for that, and I got booked, and I actually worked on the set for about a week, actually. And it was all throughout July and August, and I got paid for that as well. And there I actually met other aspiring actors as well, and they were telling me their stories about them getting headshots and castings and things like that. And I met the lady who would sign us in and make sure that we got paid and everything. She was telling me about SAG and knowing your monologues, all the stuff that I did, had no idea about. And so I kind of knew, and from there, what direction I needed to start to go to. And at first I thought I needed an agent and all this other stuff, but really I just needed to start getting work and start building up my resume.
That's awesome. And I mean, your first gig you got paid, so you're technically you're a professional actress. Like your first time, that's pretty amazing. I know a lot of people that like would love to have that be their story. That's
Yes.
fantastic. That's
Yeah, I
awesome.
got lucky with that.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's awesome. Like that's what it's all about.
Hmm.
So you got that first role, and then what happened after that?
So after that, I was still looking for more roles and auditions, and then I found BIP Ignite. I went in and I met with them and had an interview, and then I met Alicia in January this year, and she told me about the 30-day challenge and everything, and I thought it was a pretty good deal for the price that she offered, and so I signed up for it, and I've been learning so much ever since then.
Yeah, that's awesome. So for anyone watching who's like, what is this 30X challenge? What that is it's a coaching program that we offer, and we work with some of the best people in the industry. We work with working actors, models, musicians. We work with people who are actually in the industry, in the grind, day in and day out. And what they do is they coach people like Nicole on like how to have a good mindset, like how to actually, when you walk into a room, how to own the audition room, how to prepare your monologues, how to prepare all these things. So Nicole's been one of my prized students actually, because when I'm not hosting the show, something else I do is I'm the accountability coach for the coaching program. And Nicole's been one of those people that I've literally watched her blossom over the last year. So Nicole, talk a little bit about the coaching program. Like, what is it about that that's helped build your confidence? Because your confidence has soared over the last year.
Hmm. I think it's definitely nice to find out tips how to build it, because I keep those notes and I look at them frequently to kind of remind myself how to stay in it, especially when I go to auditions and I start feeling nervous or anything. But other than the confidence stuff as well, I've also learned a lot kind of what to do in the audition room that I didn't know before, like how to break down the sides that I'm getting and get into character with the little information that I know. And all that stuff definitely helped. And yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. So have you had like one big aha moment from the coaching? Because I know you've gone through a lot of coaching. We've been doing this for a while, and we give you a lot of great information. But is there one moment that you could be like, that was the thing that kind of started like shifting things?
I think with Robert Galinsky, he talked about cold readings. And I didn't know that they did this at the time in audition rooms, that you would just get it when you get there. I thought most of the time with auditions, you get sent it at least a couple days before so you can prepare for it. So it's definitely good to know kind of how to learn your lines in the amount of time that you get when you arrive to when you actually have to perform it. I think that was one of the big moments for me, because almost all auditions I've been on have been cold readings. So it's definitely helpful.
That's awesome. And for anyone watching who doesn't know, Robert Galinsky is one of our coaches, and he was actually 50 Cent's acting coach. So he's one of the people that we have working with everyone who is going through and like teaching everyone monologues, doing scene studies, and he's kind of like the acting coach for our coaching program. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you're in the middle of a big project right now. So can you talk a little bit about the play that you're in? Because it's pretty intense. You were telling me
Yeah.
about it. I was like, woo!
Yes. So the play is called A Warrior's Passage. It's a supernatural thriller mystery. I play the lead, Christina, in the play. And so the overall kind of synopsis is that she's going through these pains, that she has no idea why they're happening. Come to find out there's some murders happening around her too that are possibly linked to her. And ultimately someone is trying to attack her because of these special abilities that she has that they're trying to get. And yeah, and everything kind of comes to a head because she's multicultural, and both those things kind of help solve the mystery by the end of the play.
Cool. Okay. So the play sounds amazing. Let's talk about how you got cast in the play. Can you tell us that story? Because that story will inspire a lot of people.
Yes. So I actually found out about the casting on Facebook. I joined a Florida actors casting page group that's like regulated, and so everybody on there you know, it's not fake castings or anything like that. It all gets screened and everything. So I applied through there. I emailed the person who put up the casting, and she told me kind of that I'd be doing a cold reading. And so I came the day that they were having the open calls, and I think I was the first person there, and I was the first person who auditioned. And so when I arrived, they gave me the sides and a little synopsis of the play. And yeah, I kind of went through the scripts, and actually one of the other coaches, John Stoddard, talked about a couple weeks prior to that about how to break down the script and everything. And so I actually took those notes from that coaching and I applied it to when I was preparing for the audition. And so I kind of went through the script, broke it down, added my beats and pauses and everything, and did my interpretation of the character. And when I went on stage to perform it, you know, I performed it how I interpreted it. And afterwards, they had kind of like a post-audition interview. Mm-hmm. And the lady who was doing my interview, she told me that when I got on stage and performed, they were like, that's our Christina, that's the lead right there. And that made me feel very proud of myself, for someone to think that, of seeing my performance. I mean, that's a huge compliment. So that was great. And they made the decision right then and there, kind of, that I was going to be the lead. She told me that she didn't even want to audition at other people, like they already found their Christina. So yeah, it was pretty good.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Like how did that make you feel? Like all that preparation you put in, like share the emotions of that, because I think I probably would have bawled my eyes out. So
right.
Talk to me about the emotions of that.
I mean, I felt relieved because I was working hard and I really wanted to get it, and to know that all my hard work paid off, you know, and that they really liked what I did, even though, because I know, like, I remember in the script it said that she does something, that she screams, but I don't really scream when I'm in pain. So I did it kind of my version. And the fact that they liked kind of my interpretation of what they wrote made me feel really good about my decisions that I made as an actor. It made me feel more confident in my skills too. Mm-hmm.
So how has going through that experience boosted your confidence and changed your mindset going into other auditions?
It made me definitely trust my decisions as an actor, because I always second guess myself. And I think that I have to do kind of exactly what's on the script, because you never know how directors and the writers kind of want it portrayed, if they want it exactly as it's written, or if they let you be more fluid with your decisions. Mm-hmm. So now I'm definitely trusting my decisions more, and I talk it over with the director if I can, and just, having more confidence in my abilities. Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic, because something that I think is so important in the entertainment industry, especially if you're acting on stage. So it's so important to have that confidence. But even going forward, when you are in film, like, you definitely have to have that confidence, and you have to be in touch with the character and the emotions. And just seeing the way that you light up when you talk about that just shows how exciting that is for you. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. So what's next for you? Your play is going on this weekend, right? Or
Saturday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this Saturday's the play. We have a rehearsal today, actually. So I'll be seeing them again later tonight.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Awesome. So what's next?
Well, actually, I did a short film last weekend that I also like to talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
So I auditioned for the short film, which I didn't even remember at the time, way back in March. And I didn't get the part, so I kind of just forgot about it and, moved on. And then about last Sunday, I woke up, had a bunch of emails and text messages and phone calls, and it was the director from the student film that I auditioned for way back in March telling me that he wanted me to be in his student film that he was doing that Wednesday. And I read the script, because he sent me the script and everything, and read it over. And I agreed to be in it. And so I actually met with him on Sunday before they actually filmed on that Wednesday to go over the script. And he told me about, the emotions, kind of the background behind it, because it was only like a 7-page short film. So it's about 7 minutes long. Mm-hmm. And I got to talk with him and get to know him as well. And he told me too that he does short films like every month basically. Wow. And that he's could easily get me in contact with other students who are doing short films. So that was really nice as well. And he actually already booked me for his next student film that we're going to be doing the end of this month as well. So that was very nice. And when we went to do the short film that Wednesday, the other lead in the short film, I didn't get a chance to meet her beforehand. So when I actually met her, I recognized her. Turns out we were both extras on a music video way back in February. And it was so weird because we talked a little bit then, and I was actually telling her about VIP Ignite back then. And so to meet her again and to get to know her better, it was so cool. And it just made you realize kind of how small it can be, such a small world, and you can work with people that you've worked with before. And so, yeah, it was very, very cool.
That's fantastic. Mm-hmm. So you made such a great impression on someone back in February or March that mm-hmm. they remembered you in October, November for a short film. That's awesome, because something that we talk about so much is we want you to be an asset when you're on set. We want you to be someone that people remember. We want you to be someone who's indispensable. We want your energy to precede you. So when you go into the audition room, mm-hmm. even if you don't get that part, there's a chance that you're gonna be so memorable in a good way that's what, 8 months later, six months later,
right? Yeah,
here you are, and you're getting repeat work. So how, talk to me about that. I mean, how exciting is that?
Yeah, it's very exciting. Because I completely forgot about that audition. So when he contacted me, I was really excited, especially because it was my first time doing on-camera acting. So I got to learn a lot when they were setting up the camera and the lights, and getting to watch the other actors perform, because I had to do some reading off screen for the other actors. And I got to learn more of the lingo and everything. It was a great experience.
That's awesome. And there's something that you said twice that I don't want to gloss over. You said you went to the audition and then you forgot about it. And I think that's something, that's a mindset thing that so many actors need to get into, to get a hold of, because mm-hmm. you can't live in the past. You can't go back and redo what you did yesterday. So the only thing you can do is give it your all at that moment, and then whatever happens, happens. So you weren't pining, you're like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? Why didn't they call me? You're like, okay, you know what? Next, what's next? Right. And I love that mindset, Nicole, because that's definitely a mindset of success, because you can't dwell on yesterday. You can give it your best and move on. And mm-hmm. it's it was definitely filed somewhere back there, but it wasn't something you were obsessed with, and then it came back to you a couple months later. So that's fantastic. I didn't want, you said that twice, I didn't want to gloss over that. So that's really cool. That's really cool that you have that mindset.
Yeah, because I definitely used to worry about that, because especially if you really like the script and you like the character you really wanted, that's all you think about. Yeah. And I definitely had to change that mindset.
Yeah, mm-hmm. and that's huge growth, because I can tell you that if you talk to some of the biggest actors in Hollywood, they don't remember the roles that they didn't get the audition, that they gave a great audition but they didn't get the role. They remember mm-hmm. the things that they do, and each time they give it their best. So that there exemplifies the mindset that we want everyone to have, because as long as you gave it your best, it still came back to you. So that's awesome, Nicole. That's so cool. So let's talk a little bit about your goals. What are some of your goals for the future?
Well, some of my more immediate goals, I guess, would be to book more student or short films, do more camera work, because I do theater quite a bit, so I kind of want to start doing on-screen stuff. But I guess one of my bigger goals would be to eventually be in a feature film. That's definitely one of my dreams, to kind of sit in the movie theater and see myself on the big screen with the loud music and everything. So that's definitely what I look forward to.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, on that note, I just want to thank you so much for being on the show today. You're so welcome. Again, when we came up with a list of people that I was interviewing, you were definitely on the short list, because again, your mindset is one that you're always learning. You're so coachable, and you're just growing every time. Literally every time I talk to you, I'm like, who is this person again? Because literally every time I talk to you, there's so much growth. And like, that's a mindset thing, because there are people that think that this is where I am and this is perfect. And then there are people like you who want to grow. So thank you for being a sponge. Thank you for having that Hollywood mindset. We really appreciate you being a part of our company. And I thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And if you guys enjoyed this episode with Nicole, please make sure that you tune in, because we have a lot of great guests lined up for the show. So you don't want to miss an episode. So make sure that you're always checking us out and looking for new content. Thank you so much, and new episodes. Have a great day.